Yeah, I'd like to welcome you all to our webinar today. So this is a webinar that's been put together with us at Nisyst alongside with the guys from the charity shop the gift card, just really to give you an understanding of how that works and look at the incremental revenue that we've discussed and you've seen in the literally put out to you guys. So just as a brief introduction, my name is Marc Wilkinson. I'm Business Development Manager at Nisyst. Alongside me, or actually in the room next door to me, I've got Alex, who is one of our senior developers, who's going to run through a demonstration of the gift card solution on our ChariotWeb software. We've got Lee and Sarah, who are going to do a lot more talking than me today, because they've got a lot more to offer than I'm going to be able to offer around how the gift card is going to work and how it will work within your businesses. Okay, so yeah, just as an agenda, I'm going to go through who we are, what our ChariotWeb software looks like, what that's about, our relationship between Nisyst and the charity shop gift card. Then I'm going to move over to a presentation with Lee and Sarah. We'll do the demonstration we mentioned. We'll go back to Lee and Sarah again. We'll do a summarise and we'll save sort of Q&A till the end. But if you want to drop some questions in the boxes in the message box as we go along, so we can come to those, just makes it easy and we can keep to the right times for you all. Okay, so just a little bit about Nisyst and our ethos and our mission and our core role, and what we consider ourselves to do our best is offer something as we call it, more for you. So we try and get more gift aid revenue, more volunteer support, more cutting edge innovative features, because the way we see that is the more that we can offer you there, the more you can achieve and the better customer experience you can offer. As a business, we're a family-owned business. We celebrated our 32nd birthday only a few days ago. One of our main things that we've always looked at there is not just selling into the charity sector, but working within the charity sector as well. So really to make technology work harder for the charity sector. We're the only EPoS company that sits on a body called the Future of Gift Aid Group. That's a group of people who work really closely with the HMRC and HMRC innovation team to efficientize, if that's even a word, and drive the gift aid process to help you guys. I think it's about £180 million worth of unclaimed gift aid. So we do a lot of legwork there, and we also the gift aid trainer for the Charity Retail Academy. So we embed ourselves quite heavily within the sector to offer you more innovation and enhancing the solutions that you can use. Okay. So ChariotWeb, we've put there why ChariotWeb. What is ChariotWeb? So ChariotWeb is Nisyst EPoS solution that, as I mentioned before, really volunteer-centric, manager-centric, and therefore customer-centric EPoS solution to drive that revenue process, to offer a more seamless, intuitive process for your volunteers. One of the areas that we feel we work really well with that is our dedicated account management team, of which one member is on this call with us. We really have an ethos that we don't want to just supply an EPoS system and at the end of any contract you say, yeah, it did what you said. We want it to excel. We want it to go beyond what we say, and develop with the business and work closely as the business develops. So that basically covers that off. The relationship we have with the charity shop gift card, we were one of the first EPoS companies to do the implementation and the integration with it. Up until a couple of weeks ago, it may have changed slightly, but on the last stats we looked at, just under 50% of the shops currently using the charity shop gift card are doing it through our charity solution. It's a standard part of our solution. We don't charge anything extra for it. It's something that we've devised that we can set up from our end in minutes. So it's a really intuitive and easy solution to move. And I think that's a good place for me really to pass on to Lee and Sarah to give you an understanding of where the solution comes from, where the idea came from, and how that gets implemented in. You okay with that, Lee?
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Mark. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you for everyone's time this morning. I recognise some of you from previous conversations, So I apologise in advance. You're going to hear all the same jokes as well as all the same information. But obviously the gift card is forever evolving. The number of charities involved is always increasing. The sales distribution is always increasing. So hopefully there's lots of new information that becomes quite appealing to you. So I'll start with the background of the gift card, and again, apologies to those that have heard this, but I think it is important to kind of share this to kind of understand where we're coming from. I always make a joke that, you know, we haven't got into this to all retire after the Algarve on yachts. We are doing this very much to provide an opportunity for charities to access the £7 billion UK gift card market. Now, we've been working on this for almost 3 years now, and the idea for the gift card came independently to 2 different people. I take no credit for that, and we've got one of the co-founders and one of the idea originators on the call today, Sarah. But the other person that had an idea for the gift card is a lady called Lottie Bradley, who is the retail design manager for Save the Children. Lottie happened to be talking to her father, Richard, one day and said, you know, Dad, why do you think there isn't a gift card for charity shops in the same way there's one for, say, garden centres? Now, Richard has a payments business, albeit it's a payment business that help people accept credit and debit card payments. But having lots of connections in the payment industry and thinking it was a really interesting idea, Richard started to explore it. Now, one of his first calls was actually to myself. Richard and I go back probably 7 or 8 years. We used to be part of the same business, but Richard was aware that I worked for a gift card issuer and processor. He brought the idea to myself. I thought it sounded like a great idea, so introduced Richard to a member of the sales team. But being a friend and former colleague, I stayed in touch. I chipped in with some ideas. I made some introductions, and then the pandemic hit. Working for the biggest issue of shopping centre gift cards in the world at a time when worldwide shopping centres closed down. Unfortunately, the business I work for made some redundancies, but I went off to go and do a couple of days a week consultancy for one of my former clients, a social enterprise called Fair for You. And having some spare time, I carried on helping Richard, initially with kind of translating from gift card speaking to English, but increasingly was joining calls. And before I knew it, 90% of my spare time was helping to launch the gift card. Now, from very early on, we've forged a relationship with the Charity Retail Association, and it's through that relationship we got introduced to Sarah.
Oh, thanks, Lee. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me along. Yeah, I was also trying to set up a charity shop gift card, but had no experience in the gift card market at all. I'd actually been a primary school teacher before that, but I was really motivated to bring a charity shop gift card to market because I just thought there was definitely a place for it. I've always been an avid charity shopper, but actually I was coming at it from a slightly different angle. So in 2019, I'd found myself in a situation where I was starting again with 4 kids and we'd needed everything. So initially we were reliant on donations of clothing to get ourselves back on our feet. And then when we moved into a house, we needed everything from kids' beds right down to toys, cutlery, everything. And I was really fortunate because I did have a support network around me that donated those things. But it really struck me at that time is what happens to people in that situation that don't have people that can donate those things to them. And because I'd been a primary school teacher in an inner city school, I'd seen the impact on children and families when they were struggling financially and couldn't get the things they needed, like maybe a winter coat for their child or the right shoes or the right clothes for non-uniform days, all of that kind of thing. So I was aware that it was a problem that it was not just I'd experienced, it was something that was happening quite a lot in society. And because I'd left my teaching job and I was going to food banks, I was on benefits, I was, receiving certain grants and things like that. I knew that financial support was out there as well. But what I really thought would be good for people in that situation is that they could shop for free in charity shops, so that they could have that dignity of choice. They could go and choose the things to go in their home that they liked, choose the clothes that they would wear. And there wasn't a solution for that really. And the gift card was what came to me with a vision that no matter what high street people lived on, they would be able to receive a gift card as a means of financial support and then go along their high street, go in the charity shops like anybody else that was shopping in there and be able to choose the things that they needed, those essentials. So yeah, there wasn't anything that existed. So I started trying to make that happen. And luckily for me, when Robin at the CRA introduced me to Richard and Lee, we brought our ideas together. So the consumer side really helps balance out the support sector side, because it helps remove some of that stigma that people might feel from going into charity shops when maybe they've got an ad hoc arrangement with the council, and it's quite identifying to go in there with a sheet of paper or something like that. So yeah, it's been brilliant that we've been able to bring the two ideas together.
Thanks, Sarah. So as I mentioned, this is all about providing meaningful access to the £7 billion UK gift card market. And the only way we can do that really is by bringing charities together to give that choice of charity shops where the gift card can be spent. What we do is we sell the gift card through a number of different channels. So we sell the gift card online through our website and through a number of third-party websites, all the way through to the likes of Amazon. And although Amazon in many ways is the antithesis of charity shopping, if someone goes onto Amazon and comes away with our gift card, we think that's a good result. We also sell the gift card through all of the participating charities. So there is commission available on that, but we'll cover that in a moment. We sell the gift card through the gift card malls, which is a very American term for the big racks of gift cards you see in supermarkets and other high street retailers. So the cards are available in Sainsbury's, in Asda, in WH Smith, in Boots, and larger Tesco stores. We also work with incentive and reward agencies. So these are kind of third-party agencies that kind of help us access what's known as the B2B market. So they are providing kind of rewards and incentives, things like switch your broadband, get a free gift card, trade in your loyalty points, all the way through to things like employee benefit platforms. So some employers, you're probably familiar with this, some employers give their employees access to a portal where they can log in and access discounted goods and services. They're available through a growing number of those platforms. But we actually think that the biggest market for the gift card, single market for the gift card, will be working with councils and support agencies.
Yeah, so that's where my work comes in, and that's the side that I'm really focused on. And from quite early on, I was speaking to the local government association about the idea, and they said it was quite timely because they were looking at a way to combine their poverty work with all the sustainability work that needs to happen. So many councils and other organisations are looking at social value in their procurement and how they support people, you know, with so much going to landfill and yet so many people going without essentials. You know, how do you marry the two up? And the gift card can help close that loop. Certainly from an admin perspective, it's much easier for charity shops to be able to receive a gift card than from a beneficiary, rather than then have the councils having to go through a process of invoicing and all of that. So it's much more streamlined. And we're working with councils in various areas, and what's always sort of been a slight sticking point for us is that we need that redemption network in an area to be able to make it really work for people that are using the card. So Warrington Borough Council were our first ones because they had 10 St Rocco shops in the area, and they use it as part of their local welfare assistance. So people that are in need of mainly clothing and bedding, they use it for, and they can go and spend the cards in the shops. But it doesn't just have to be local welfare assistance. So we've worked with organisations that support refugees and asylum seekers. There has been, so our work in Scotland in Renfrewshire is funded by the Climate Emergency Fund, and that's looking at a more sustainable way of helping people to get furniture and things that they need. And then we also work with charities. So one is Clothing Collective, who used to offer a paper voucher, but now they solely use the charity shop gift card, and they're using our redemption network to be able to expand out of London. And actually I've got a call with an organisation that supports care leavers. So that is again helping people that have been in care and then they're going into their first home, they need everything. So it's the case of using that card to get those essentials, with luckily some of those guide rails that are sort of inherent in charity shops. They're not going to go to Argos and buy a PlayStation with their money. They are going to be able to actually be a little bit limited on what they can spend, but still have that dignity of choice. And then we've had interest from organisations that are national and provide those disbursements. So emergency funding for clothing, furniture, housing associations, but we've really needed that national redemption network to make that work. So as we're building, and especially this year, that is getting more and more. We're getting closer to that nationwide redemption network, and it's a really exciting time for us because we can start really working in earnest to get that working. And we've onboarded a couple of councils in the last week or so. So yeah, the scheme and the benefits of it are really starting to show, and we've had some great feedback and research from people that have just shown how even a £20 gift card can help someone. I can share that with you after, so I won't go into it because I could talk about it forever, because it was really exciting to hear about how it can really help people. But yeah, we've had some great feedback, which is good.
And I think for me, the really encouraging thing, because we have been working on this for best part of 3 years, is we've reached that tipping point where councils are actually contacting us. They're finding out about the scheme, they're hearing about the scheme, they understand that the benefits of using the scheme. So from a council's perspective, I'm sure you can appreciate, it's helping funds go further in a cost of living crisis. It's helping to promote the circular economy. It's reducing the amount of items going to landfill. It's providing funds for charities by definition that are in their local area. And not only are those charities going away and doing amazing things in their area, but they're also creating volunteering opportunities and employment opportunities in the local area. And we all know the signposting that charity shops can give to service users. So councils recognise that. And as Sarah's mentioned, we had 2 councils sign up in 1 week, which was just fantastic. But I think over this coming year, with the redemption network growing and kind of council interest increasing, it becomes a very kind of worthwhile scheme for all of the partners. Now, kind of diving into kind of how the scheme works operationally, I think you'll all probably appreciate, especially as this call's been hosted by Nisyst and run by Nisyst, that it works through your EPoS system. So put quite simply, all of the transactions go through the EPoS system. The cards themselves are available in 3 different form factors. So there are physical gift cards. Now, we manufacture those, and they're manufactured from high density board, which are both recyclable and compostable. So we're not adding to the plastic waste pile. We also have e-vouchers, and e-vouchers are available from our website, through third-party websites. We've seen mainly councils and support agencies using e-vouchers, but Sarah referenced Clothing Collective, one of our partners there, actually have a stock of physical cards that they activate themselves. So there is no kind of distinction that an e-voucher means it's come from a council, or a physical card means it's a consumer card. They're an absolute mix. Through Nisyst, you can also print what's best described as a gift receipt. So it's the same concept. I've been able to print out through your till system a gift receipt. Whatever the form factor, the gift card will have a barcode and a 16-digit number. So in the event that the barcode can't be read, there is always that backup of the 16-digit number which can be keyed in. And it's probably a good time to hand over to Alex, who will just do a bit of a demo in terms of how Nisyst kind of processes these transactions.
Thanks, Lee. So just off the side here, I've got a till. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share the screen. So rather than trying to run through a slide deck or anything, I'm just going to show you some of the things. So as Lee mentioned, there's the 3 different types of ways of using the charity gift card. So what I'm going to go through is the 2 that you normally use on a system, which is a physical gift card and what we call the virtual gift card. So as we've mentioned, the gift receipt. So let's just go through quickly and show you step by step how we do it. So the first thing is a customer coming in and buying a charity gift card. So let's say you're selling them actually in the charity shop. So they would start the sale. I'm just going to put my number in. And what we've got set up here is we've got a button here for gift cards. So I'll click on there. For this example, we're going to click on physical gift card. So what it's now saying is there is a 16-digit number on the back of that gift card. Scan that ID. So I've got a charity gift card here. Scan that barcode, and it's asking how much do you want to put onto that gift card. So let's just take the example we had before, £20. Click OK. You'll notice there's a little authorization code. As you would do if you were buying with a credit card, it does go to the charity gift card company. Everything is authorized and comes back. How are we completing this sale? I'm going to complete it as cash. Press exact. And that's printed out a normal receipt for the sale. And the customer's now got a charity gift card, which is activated. So if I click on supervisor, I've got another feature at the top right. A customer might come in and say, can you tell me how much I've got left on this voucher, on this card? So if they click check gift card balance, it's asking them to scan the code. Scan the code, it comes up and it tells me there's £20. Now, this information that it comes back is live because obviously the card can be used at different charities, at different shops. The information is updated live. So somebody who's got a shop at one high street and a shop at 99 high street, they can sell in one shop, go to the next shop, it's immediate. Okay. So the second way of actually buying a gift card is the virtual gift card. So we'll do the same thing again. I'll press gift card, but this time I'm going to say virtual. So what this does, there's nothing for you to scan, but it's saying, how much do you want to give this gift card for? So let's do £30 on this one. Click OK. That goes away and it's authorized a gift card, a virtual gift card. I'm going to say they're paying it again by cash. And what that does is it prints off a little gift receipt. And obviously, sometimes till roll can run out. It asks you, was it successful? Because this technically is money. So it's saying you won't be able to reprint this. So I'm going to say, yes, it did print OK. And then it prints the rest of my receipt. So what you've got now is we've got physical gift cards and you've got a little gift receipt, again, with a 16-digit barcode, which also shows on there the card number, a unique PIN, the balance and the authorization code as well. So how do you use these? So what I'm going to do now is we'll do some sales. So what I'll do is I'll start a sale and I'm going to sell a ladies top and I'm going to say it's £4.50. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the physical gift card as a method of payment. So I'm going to click on voucher at the bottom right there, and I'm going to pick charity gift card. And as soon as I do that, it's going to pop up and say, scan your 16-digit number. Scan that. And it's immediately gone away and says, you've currently got £20 left on this gift voucher. How much of this sale do you want to use on this gift voucher? So for this example, I'm going to use the full amount. You'll notice as I'm typing the figure in, what will be left on the voucher is also shown at the top right. So I'm just going to finish that sale. It's been authorized and the receipt's printed. So just to show you again, I'm going to click supervisor, check balance, scan the code, and that balance has gone down to £15.50. Again, communicating live with the charity gift card. So we'll come out of there. So what we'll do also is people can come back for refunds and they might want to refund back onto the card. So I'm going to start the sale. I'm going to say supervisor refund. And I'm just going to say it's other. Scan the original receipt. Obviously, it's telling me that this was done on some kind of credit or debit card. I'll pick the item. So what it's saying here is this £4.50 that you need to give back to the customer. And in this particular example, we're going to say we're giving back to the customer using voucher and charity gift card. So it's saying, fine. We want to give that back, yes. Scan your 16-digit card number. Scan the 16-digit card number. It's done the refund. Just to check that, we'll go back once again to check the balance. If I scan that code again, it should be back up to £20. So you can refund back onto the account as well. So I've used the physical card. So just to give you a bit of an example again with the virtual card, we're going to sell again. So this time I'm just going to scan a few items there, selling a different way there. So that's £2.50. I'm going to say I'm paying by voucher. I'm paying by the charity gift card. It's asking me to scan the 16-digit number. So obviously I've got a receipt this time. Scan that code. So same thing. How much I've got £30 there. I'm going to do something different here. I'm going to say I only want to spend £2 of this gift card. Sale's not completed. You've still got 50p left. I'm going to pay the rest cash. So you don't have to use the gift card as the full payment. Just like any other payment method, you can use the gift card as part payment with any other method as well. Okay. Now, within the system, and you'll have this with other EPoS systems as well. You just need to check with your providers. With ChariotWeb, once we've got the spreadsheets from the charity gift shop company, the setup literally is minutes within our system. We show you how you set up the hotkeys, as I've just done, which are these hotkeys up here, and you're literally ready to go. And it's a free module, as Mark has mentioned. So hopefully that's given you a good idea of physical gift cards, virtual gift cards, how you would use them within your EPoS solution, and how it would benefit you as a charity. Lee, Sarah, back to you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for that, Alex. What I would say, and although obviously we're being hosted by Nisyst today, is Nisyst are actually the quickest to set up the gift card. So it is as Alex has mentioned, we send in the mids and keys. Now, I think although the setup process for you guys is a matter of minutes, it's normally an overnight refresh to be pushed down to the till. So it's literally the next day you are technically live with the gift card.
Sorry, Lee, with ChariotWeb now, that is an immediate thing. So they could have it same day.
I didn't know. So thank you for correcting me, Alex.
Something new for you there. Not a problem.
A couple of points on what Alex has mentioned. So it's probably apparent from the demo, but just to be really clear, there is absolutely no value on those physical gift cards until they have been activated by your till. So there's absolutely no theft risk or liability, I should say. Clearly someone might come in and pick up the cards and run out with them, but all they've got is some bits of cardboard and nothing else. There's no liability to you or to us, because the gift card cannot be activated unless it goes through a compatible and approved till system. The other thing is, particularly with some of the vouchers given out by councils, really important to refund back onto the card. Now, in the event that the card holder says, well, actually, I'm sorry, I don't have that card anymore, you can refund onto a brand new card. The system won't discriminate. So you can simply just pick up a new card, refund back onto that gift card. So if there's £2 left to go back on, just refund onto a new card. But no, that's a really useful demo, although I've kind of seen it before in kind of live shops when I've occasionally kind of helped the cashier. It's great to see all of those steps. So thanks again, Alex. So in terms of what we then do as kind of a business, we take care of treasury management. So you can imagine that with all these different channels that the gift cards are being sold, not just the charities themselves, but the supermarkets, online, and so on and so forth, all the funds need to come to us. So once all the funds come to us, we then need to settle the funds when the gift cards are spent. And we do that process once a month. I won't go into too much detail in terms of how that works, but at kind of a high level, what it fundamentally means is we will send you a monthly statement to show here are all the transactions, both of gift card sales and gift card redemptions, and we will send you an appropriate invoice and settle the funds to you once a month. We do that at a head office level. We are not geared up to do that at a per shop level, but to be really clear, the statement that we send it breaks it down for each individual shops. But obviously you'll have reporting available through Nisyst, and what we also make available is we have a portal that's provided by our processor, the big IT company that processes the transactions, and you guys can have access to that and see transactions in real time as well through that portal. I'd probably say only about 20% of charities have opted for that and find what is provided by the EPoS suppliers, plus our monthly statement is more than sufficient. Now, we also provide customer services, and they are there 7 days a week for both card holders and for the charity shops. That's an outsourced team up in Newcastle, so they are available 7 days a week. Now, what the encouraging thing is, I think last month there was 3 calls. What we're finding is that cardholders understand it. It is a very simple proposition, and the shops typically don't have any issues processing the gift cards. Now, whilst I talk about the gift cards, I forgot to mention that before, with the gift cards that we sell to consumers are valid for 2 years, and they can spend it for at any point during that 2-year period and at multiple charity shops. So they might spend £5 with Bernardo's, and then £3 with Marie Curie, and £2 with Willowwood, so on and so forth. There are no restrictions on the spend of that card. In the event that those funds aren't fully spent, they do expire and they come to us, but I'll cover that in a moment. With councils and support agencies, the proposition is different. What we allow the support agency or councils to do is set the expiry rules for that gift card. So to use an example, if someone's being given out a card for winter clothing, not something I want to think about when the sun's shining, but clearly having 2 years to spend those funds isn't appropriate. So the council can say, well, actually, we want that card to be valid for 10 weeks or 4 weeks or 3 months. It just depends on the set of circumstances for what the disbursement is for. And in the event that those funds aren't spent, those funds go back to the council or support agency to help the next person on. We do not keep any of the funds that have been ring-fenced to help people in need. In terms of costs, we don't levy any charges whatsoever to join the scheme. There are no setup fees. The physical gift cards are free of charge. We also provide window decals free of charge, albeit one slight caveat, we do fulfillment through a copier. I know a lot of charities work with a copier, but you just need to get those from a copier. If you are placing an order with a copier, there's no additional charge. If you don't work with a copier, you'll just need to cover the postage and package. The great thing about the relationship with Nisyst is that there are no charges levied by Nisyst, no setup fee, no module fee. Now, that's not true of all EPoS companies. Obviously, talk to your own EPoS company or can talk to us afterwards, but some do charge a setup fee, some do charge a monthly module fee. But Nisyst don't charge anything. So the only charges you are left with is a redemption fee. And that is a percentage of the value of the gift cards that you redeem. Nothing to do with what the value of the gift card is when it's brought in. It's purely on what is redeemed through your till systems. Now, that redemption fee is 15% plus VAT. Now, we are cognizant that's not an insignificant amount, but to provide the kind of rationale for that, when we sell the gift card through most of the sales channels, we have to either pay a commission or we have to discount the face value of the gift card. And for most channels, it's around about 10%. When you guys sell the gift cards, if you choose to do so, we pay you commission. Now, it used to be the proposition was very simple. It is still simple, but we pay you 10% for any gift cards you sell between £20 and £100. We kind of cap it at £100. That doesn't mean you won't see a gift card with more than £100. The reason we cap it is more to make sure there's never a scenario where you guys are asked to ID someone, or if someone comes in and buys an excessive amount, there's sometimes a request to validate that person. We don't want that to happen in your shops. But clearly, if a council is giving a card to someone that's being rehomed, we're aware that some councils give £500 or even £750. So you could see a card, but clearly the council is dispersing that to someone. They know the person. We don't need to worry about ID checks. So a card could come in with more than that, but there's a cap of £100 for gift cards sold through charity shops. And it also kind of prevents someone keying in the wrong amount and that sort of stuff. So it just provides that extra layer of protection. Now, last year, we had a number of charities approach us saying, look, we'd really like to sell gift cards below £20. The problem we have is we face some fixed cost for each gift card activation. So it's not just the cost of the physical gift card, but we are the way that our commercials work with our processor, we pay a fixed amount for every card that's activated. Whether that card's activated with £1 or £1,000, we pay the same amount. And quite simply, if we were to pay you guys 10% and on a card that has been activated with £10, I think I worked out we'd come away with about 2p, which is not commercially viable for us. So what we put out as kind of a pragmatic kind of solution was you could sell gift cards between £10 and £20 or up to kind of £19.99, but we'd pay 5% commission on those cards rather than 10%. That gives you an advantage because the supermarkets and other channels don't necessarily sell or have the ability to sell down to £10, but it makes it quite neat for things like the run up to Christmas. We were talking about sustainable Secret Santa gifts, also more appropriate for kind of child's gifts as well. So there is that kind of tiered commission rate now. Now, there are ways to mitigate the impact of that kind of redemption fee. So first and foremost, sell the gift cards, get the commission in. Secondly, you do not have to accept the gift card for anything other than donated goods. So if you have new goods, if you have raffles, if you have lotteries, you have any other services, you do not have to accept the gift card as a tender type. That is completely your prerogative, though. There is no system constraint that will check if it's a new good. It is down to you guys to make that decision. Now, in reality, I I believe all of the charities do accept it for new goods, because in terms of that mix of baskets, they think it kind of makes commercial sense and just removes that bit of complication from the shops. But what I'd say is it does state it on the physical card. It's not hidden on page 3 of some kind of obscure terms and conditions online. It states on the card that it's your prerogative whether to accept the card for anything other than donated goods. The next thing I'd say is if the consumer is willing to do so, round up to the nearest pound. Get that extra bit of revenue in to kind of help mitigate the cost. And thirdly, if the consumer agrees, see if they want to donate the last couple of pounds on the gift card to you guys, again, just to help mitigate that cost. The final thing I'll say in terms of kind of that redemption fee is we are a not-for-profit. So going back to what I said at the start, we aren't doing this to retire off to the Algarve. This is very much about trying to drive incremental revenue into the charity sector. As and when we're profitable as a registered social enterprise, what we'll be doing is converting the majority of our profits into gift cards and donating them to food banks, refugees, and other support agencies. And obviously, those funds will come back into you guys as they're spent. Now, we think over the next few years we'll probably be adding 3 to 5 million pounds worth of revenue into the charity sector, but we think the upper cap for this is potentially as high as 50 million. Now, as a percentage of 7 billion, going back to the original kind of statement in terms of UK gift card market being worth £7 billion, that's not a huge percentage, but when you add on top of that the disbursements that councils are doing that potentially aren't going on gift cards today, and the opportunity to work with some of those national support agencies that may even buy in goods and impose goods and items on people, given that dignity of choice, we think that the upper cap could be as high as 50 million. And if we get to that point, what we won't be doing is donating hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds to support agencies, so that would be great. We'll be looking to bring down that redemption fee to make it more cost effective for you guys. So that is an absolute commitment from our part. Now, in terms of kind of where we're at, there are now 50 charities that have joined the scheme, and that includes a number of nationals. So we're live with the likes of Marie Curie, the Children's Society, Shelter, Crisis, YMCA. Sense start their rollout next month. Sense should roll out in full, next month. Bernardo's should start their rollout in June as well. We have commitments to join this year from the likes of Scope, Save the Children, Cancer Research. Oxfam have committed this year, but I think realistically it will probably be next year. But we've pretty much got a commitment from almost every national. British Heart Foundation, keep forgetting about those guys. And Salvation Army have started to pilot now as well. But we've got a commitment from most of the nationals to roll out this year. And I appreciate, particularly if you're in region, you might be thinking, well, hold on, doesn't that mean it's not really worth me getting involved? I completely disagree, because I think the more charities that join, the stronger the proposition is for all of us, the more attractive it is to consumers. And then for those regionals, it makes it work if you join for the council in your local area to join the scheme and be able to disperse with confidence. There's that density of shops in the council area. Now, I've mentioned that there are about 1,000 shops that are in the scheme today, but by the end of this year, we expect that to be kind of around about 3,500 shops, which again just kind of elevates the scheme in terms of its attractiveness to all of our target markets. Now, in terms of how we promote the scheme, as you'd probably expect, we're on all of the social media out there. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, we've got a YouTube channel. It took us a little while to set up TikTok because I kept failing the age verification for being too old, but we're on there now, and we've got a fantastic social media manager, Hannah, who's built her own personal account, so I think probably about 17,000 followers, just talking about nothing but thrifting and charity shopping. So she's very much a kind of leading the charge in terms of what we do from a social media perspective. But what we also do when regional charities join is we put out a media release into the local press. And that sometimes gets picked up by 4 or 5 publications. We've also been on local radio, most recently BBC Radio Humber when we launched with Dove House. But this year we're really going to start pushing out to try and get some national coverage. We've always kind of walked a bit of a tightrope because we need the gift card to be known about so people buy it, and makes it kind of work for us as a business and for the charities that are involved. But equally, what we didn't want to happen is that people look at the gift card, say, oh, I want to shop sustainably, I'm a keen charity shop, and then look and go, well, actually, my nearest charity shop is 10 miles away, so never look at the scheme again. because, so we just mentioned the redemption net will treble this year, but I think with the confidence of knowing that we've got more nationals coming and charities signing up all the time, most recent one yesterday, we know that, and we can with confidence now push for that national coverage. That said, we have had national coverage. We've been in the Sun Online, we've been in iNews, we've been in the Observer, we've been in the Daily Mail, I think twice now. We have had radio coverage. We've had even coverage on television. We're on GB News, so 3 more people know about us. But I think with the kind of the origin story, the fact that we're a not-for-profit, the fact that we're helping people in the cost of living crisis, the fact that we're helping promote the circular economy, reducing landfill, I think there's going to be interest from a lifestyle program perspective. And we're working on something with the CRA that hopefully we'll get quite a bit of kind of awareness of the gift card and the charity sector next year, but I can't say any more about that because Robin will kill me. But I think at some point we'll be able to share more about that. But we do have a brand ambassador that kind of talks about us, which is a lady called Jen Brady, you might know as Charity Shop Girls, very active now on not just Instagram and TikTok, but also now on LinkedIn. And kind of works with the Charity Retail Association and a number of charities. So she was our first brand ambassador, but we're looking to appoint more. We've had conversations with some kind of higher profile celebrities as well. But again, keeping our powder dry. We just want a few more shops before we start pushing out. But we've been talking to the likes of Stacey Solomon's agent. I'm always going to get her name wrong. So Sarah, get yourself off mute in case I get her name. Is it Kimberly Hart Simpson?
That's right, yeah.
Thank you.
You got it.
Coronation Street actress, but a huge advocate of Pre-Loved and already works with some of the charities as well. So we've been talking to her. But kind of this year is when we really start to push to kind of get to that increase awareness. So hopefully that kind of gives a good sense of what the scheme's about, how simple it is to kind of operate through a till system or through Chariot, how easy it is to set up, kind of our ambitions for the scheme. Hopefully you now understand the costs and hopefully the benefit it can bring in terms of incremental revenue for your charities. I think the one thing charities say, well, are you in effect whacking on a 15% of charge of money that was coming to me anyway? I'd always say fundamentally no. So whilst the gift cards you sell in your charity shops, there will undoubtedly be an element of cannibalization. The reality is people are not buying gift cards from the gift card malls that would have come into you. They are not buying them through the B2B channels. I know some of you have tried to work with councils, but I think the work we do with councils, I think 95% plus of that will be incremental revenue. So this is very much about driving incremental revenue for you guys. So that's it. I think, apologies, Mark, if I'm running roughshod over the agenda. I'll come in if we've got Q&A now, or you're going to do a quick summary, but I'll hand back to Mark. You're on mute, Mark.
Yeah, Lee, yeah, that's great. Really informative, Alex, Lee, Sarah. I think that's been really helpful for me, well, for everybody, hopefully. As regards to summary, there's obviously the people are on here. There's a couple that are in the process of currently moving to us, which is great. There's a couple on here that aren't with us, but I'd love to move to us. And there's some that were early stages. And to the 2 or 3 messages I've had while I'm here of people who can't find the emails that they knew they had 2 days ago, and now they can't find them. So we've got the recording to get over to those people as well. But I think it has been really good. Hopefully we've portrayed how closely we work with you guys. And how we work as a company at Nisyst to try and bring these solutions and trying to work with companies that are bringing really sort of innovative solutions to the charity sector and make sure that we're really heavily tied with them. So that, from my perspective, that was great. I hope everyone got the same. But yeah, let's go Q&A and see if there's any questions out there and see if anyone wants to throw anything in there. No one's coming off mute. Everyone's staying on mute. Nothing's happening. I'm sure all the ones that I can't see are there.
I'll come off mute. I had lots of questions, but as you've gone through, you've answered all of them, really. I think the only question that remains for me is, we don't use Nisyst, we use a different EPoS system. Which EPoS systems does this work with? You mentioned that there are, some EPoS systems have an additional module or have a setup cost for implementing it.
So we're compatible with a good chunk of the EPoS vendors that are corporate members of the CRA. So we work with CRS, we work with CSY, we work with Zuri. Cybertil released their support next month. We also are live with Kudos and Will You. eProductive should be supporting the scheme by late summer, so kind of August, September.
And then the only other question I had on my list is, as a card user, where would I be able to see a complete list of shops where I can redeem my card? Is it something you'd have on your website? Would I be able to search shop on your site?
That's exactly it, Julie. So it's on our website, and there is actually QR code on the back of our cards that allow a cardholder to go straight to the website to check where the stores are. You can pop in a postcode or a town and it'll give you your nearest shops. So that, yeah, that's there available for cardholders.
And also just to add that with councils, sometimes they'll signpost to their local hospice shops. So although they might have other participating shops in the area, sometimes they sort of prefer to use a local hospice. So they might do that, or I've produced assets for some of the organisations that distribute cards which show people their local participating ones. So it's really easy for people to use.
If I might ask a final question, because I'm not the only person on here, others may have questions. You mentioned one charity that you're working with who's doing a pilot. Assuming that this will work with our current EPoS system, how would you structure a pilot? Well, so the charity that's doing a pilot with Salvation Army, and Salvation Army said to us, look, we've spoken to a few times, and we're committed to joining the scheme, but committed to join the scheme later this year. And we had a situation in Renfrewshire where we were working, I think Sarah mentioned, with via the council with their climate support fund, and the cards were being redeemed in a charity called Ramher, which is a single shop in Paisley, if my memory serves me correctly. Unfortunately, Ramher is going to have to close their shop, and we're left with a situation where we were facing a situation with very little options for the gift card to be spent within Paisley. So we basically said to Salvation Army, would you be willing to pilot in the Renfrewshire area? They have a number of shops, and they said yes, because it doesn't commit them to a full rollout. But they still intend to roll out, and they've also kind of intimated that when we go live with Worcester City Council later this year, that they'll open the shops there as well. So really, they're just kind of didn't really have the bandwidth to do a full rollout, but we're happy to kind of support the scheme where those councils are going live. Thank you.
I mean, we typically, although we're happy to pilot, we always think that it's easier if a charity fully rolls out, because we can put the logo on the website, we can announce you as live, and it's going to make it more successful for the charity, and just eliminates any confusion in terms of I can spend my card in this shop but not that shop, even though it's the same charity.
Yeah, I mean, it just might be worth doing an operational trial in one shop first before full rollout. That's all I'm thinking on that.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, thank you. That was all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. Any other questions? No.
But I'll ask myself a question then.
Okay.
So in terms of in terms of kind of next steps for any charities that might be interested in kind of moving forwards, we only need two things. So one is what we call our onboarding form. It sounds quite grand, but it's a spreadsheet with a I think it's 3 tabs. One, we just need to capture the shop information, which we use then to create what's called keys and mids to set you up technically live. Now, the only thing that you will potentially need to dig around or maybe talk to colleagues within the charities is the IP address of the shops. We need those just to get them whitelisted, so the processor knows the transaction is coming from a known place. It's just a security feature, so that if someone were to log into someone's software, they can't activate gift cards because it would not be come from a known IP address. We also ask, we put on a tab that just captures information that might be wanted by a council. It really is just to stop us going backwards and forwards. So it's things like, do you deliver? Do you do white goods? Is there a warranty? Do you install? There are no right or wrong answers. It just allows us to have that information to hand, so we don't go backwards and forwards. And then finally, we just capture who are the key contacts within the charity that we might need to speak to. So finance, marketing, PR, operations, and the bank account details, so we can settle the funds to you each month. And that's it. The other thing we need is a signed contract. The contract isn't 2 pages. It's not a short contract because we're dealing with 2 kind of key things here: your brand, our brand, and money. But what I would say is for regional charities, that kind of hopefully the reassuring thing is a regional charity can at any point decide to leave the scheme by giving us 90 days notice. And that just gives a window for someone to spend a gift card that they've bought with the intention of spending it with you, and for us to remove your details from the store locator, so that people don't come and try and spend the cards in your shops. It's a little bit different for national charities, and the reason it's slightly different is what we do with the gift cards that we put into the supermarkets is we do sometimes include logos on those cards. And so clearly what we're doing is print a load of cards, include a national logo, and then the nationals are actually going to give you 90 days notice. Now, the good thing is no charity has exited the scheme so far. Hopefully there's absolutely no reason to do, because particularly with Nisyst, there is no ongoing cost. The only cost is when you accept a gift card. So hopefully there's no kind of reason to leave the scheme. Now, I'm just going to kind of contradict myself slightly. We have on some of the second batch of gift cards that went into supermarkets, we did include some of the regional logos on the back of the card. So it's the nationals have gone on the front because obviously there's the brand recognition at a national level, but we have incorporated some of the regionals. And when we get to a point where we can't fit all the regionals on, we'll just rotate them. But we kind of, and I think consumers will be a bit more understanding if a regional charity no longer accepts the card, but it's still printed on the card. But that's the kind of the big drive and the rationale. Obviously, a national leaving the scheme is more of an kind of an impact to card holders than a regional. So that's the basis for the different kind of contractual agreements.
Lee, there's just been another question from Gary in the chat. Is there a minimum period of time for a charity to sign up to?
I think, Gary, I think you're from a regional that I know, so it's just a 90-day notice period. I think technically the contract says it's a 2-year, but you can leave at any point 90 days notice, and there is not kind of a particular reason. You can just say it doesn't work for me anymore. Here's your 90 days notice, and that's it.
Okay, that's great. Okay, any more questions? Have we got everybody?
I don't have a question, Mark, probably more of a statement following something Lee had just had mentioned earlier on. Obviously, some good things about the charity shops and trying to get, excuse me, more revenue in. And Lee mentioned about possibly asking somebody to round up to give a donation and round up their sales. Just as a point to mention, as with the charity gift card module, the roundup module is a feature that's readily available and free of charge within ChariotWeb as well. So you can benefit from all these different things where you're getting money and upselling, so to speak, to get people into your charity as well.
Thanks, Alex.
No problem.
Great. Okay. Well,
sorry, Mark. I'll just jump in with one final thing. So I mentioned marketing the gift card. What I didn't mention is obviously the cards and decals are available through Acopia. We did produce some stands with Acopia as well. They are not free of charge. I think I can send details for anyone who wants it, but they are made from board. So they are, again, into plastic waste pile, but they're branded. They're kind of A5 with a slot. I think they're £2.90 plus VAT and available from Acopia. There's no requirement for you to buy them. You can use your own stands. What we started to do originally was kind of promote the fact you can invert a cassette tape case and pop the cards in there, display them however you want. But once you've kind of onboarded, actually there's no reason not to share it in advance, but we have a marketing toolkit that gives ideas to how to promote the gift card both in the shops and to your wider supporter base. And there's within that there's a link to some hidden parts of our website that you can download, logos and images. I would always say the key to being successful in terms of selling the gift cards from your shops, it's all down to just making sure that your shop teams and volunteers understand how to use it on the till system. And just happy to kind of mention the gift card. The biggest selling shop in the run up to Christmas last year, who did I think nearly £700 worth of sales, just had a volunteer that was just happy to mention it to every person that came to the till point. Nothing more sophisticated than that. We've got partners that have got videos running, radio and all sorts of clever stuff. nothing more powerful than someone's just saying, "Are you aware that we now support we're now part of the Charity Shop gift card?" But sorry, Mark, I know you were going to wrap up, but thank you for everyone for your time again. We are more than happy to answer any questions after the event. If you don't have our email addresses, I'm sure Mark can provide it, but both Sarah and I are on LinkedIn, and you can contact us via the website as well.
Yeah, and I think that the same goes from Nisyst's perspective. You know, it's been really good to have you guys on here. Hopefully you've all got something to take away from it. But as Lee says, you've got my email address from what from the invites we've had sent out. This has been recorded, so I'll put that together, so I'll make that available. However that happens, I'll work out at this end, but I'm sure there'll be a link through to somewhere where you can get access. Drop any questions across. Both lots of us will be at the CRA conference at the end of June, so pop on and see us if you're there and have a chat, or you know, any sort of interaction you want. And again, follow us on LinkedIn. We've got a lot of stuff going out there now from our marketing team, just talking about various different aspects and things that are going in the charity this year. So yeah, it'd be really good to sort of engage a little bit more as we move forward. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, everybody.